welcome to episode 206 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Charlie Day.
And I'm one of your hosts, Anime Yogi Bear.
Yogi, very nice to meet you. He'll get there. I have faith in him. Hey.
Hi.
It is November 4th.
Yep.
This feels weird. But hey,
It had to be done.
It had to be done. You know, hey, we're just really big video game fans.
Yeah.
Halloween, who gives a shit? I would wear Luigi costume to my wedding. That's how dedicated I am, you know.
Everyone, mark that down.
He said it.
We got him.
If you're an audio listener, you should definitely go give us a video listen to see what we're referencing, because quality.
Yeah.
Quality content. Jeffrey, how you doing this week?
Doing good. I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, not bad. Not bad. You know, not bad.
Yeah.
We got some bummer video game news definitely somewhere in here, but we also have some pretty cool shit to talk about.
We do. And in our weird late/early podcast, because in a way we skipped technically last week's, but we're recording the next week's early. So I don't know what week we're technically in.
Who knows? Who cares? It's, you know, we're here, and that's all that matters.
True. I don't want to feel what Easy Allies feels and giant news drops tomorrow.
Oh, it'll happen. Just
Probably.
Go ahead.
Because they're recording maybe now. Nah, probably not yet. I don't know. They'll be recording soon.
Well, we all know what the more important video game podcast is, and we're glad that you're listening to it.
Yep.
And it's a very special episode because we have the Mario Party Redemption Tour.
Yep.
Like fully on its way here with Mario Party. What is the fucking name of this?
Mario
game?
Party Superstars Baby.
Mario Party Superstars Baby
Yes.
is the name of the game.
Yes. All the baby characters are playable, and only the baby characters.
Only the baby characters.
Baby game.
What is the like? Is there a lore thing? Is Baby Mario a different character from Mario, or is that Mario as a baby? Because they're in the same games over and over again. Is that Mario's child?
It is definitely Mario as a baby because of Yoshi's Island, where he takes care of baby Mario.
So that means there's some weird time paradox where baby Mario has crossed, it has time traveled into present day, as with everyone else. Well, and was Rosalina ever a baby? Because she is a cosmic god.
The answer is yes, because she is Yor and Peach's daughter. That's canon, remember?
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. All right. How'd she get space powers? Mario Party. How is it, Jeff?
I think so far, based on what I played and watched of it, is pretty excellent. Especially when you compare it to the last couple.
Yeah. Not like the bar was high the last few, but yes, you probably watched a lot more than me, but I've played the one game, and from playing the one game, I did enjoy it quite a bit.
Indeed. Yeah, they went kind of back to basics with it. You know, obviously, we knew when they announced the game it was remakes of Mario Party 1 through 3 boards, but using mini games throughout the series. And honestly, looking at it, choosing a lot of the best ones at the very least. A lot of the most iconic ones are in there. Some of the ones that it's like, okay, these are good ones, even from like the later ones. It has games from all the Mario Party except for Super Mario Party. Which makes sense because that one involved Joy-Cons.
Even Mario Party 10?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It kind of goes down in the amount of games it uses for each game as it goes. It's like more heavily like the early ones. But yeah, it does have at least some 10 and 9 and likes in there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for me, like I know I played some of those older ones, but I never had the N64 or GameCube or any of those or whatever. So like I just kind of played them at your house every now and then. But like I didn't play it a ton, so I don't really remember like hardly any of these. So to me, it's you know, it's kind of all new, which is cool.
Yeah. Even for me, it's like it's been so long, so therefore ones that stick in my mind. But a lot of the ones even from those games have been so long, I kind of forget about them. even after we played them. Even though I know I know I played this one because I know it's in from 2, but yeah.
Yeah. It's certainly like, I mean, it is Mario Party. It just feels like it's Mario Party, but like just hopefully not doing dumb bullshit, like not doing dumb gimmicky things, and hopefully it sounds like the online functionality is just there and works a lot better from what everyone said.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, it's definitely more simple. It's not doing anything crazy, but it's not doing anything bad either, which is.
Yeah, I think what it's doing is good. Like you said, it doesn't do any of the crazy gimmicky bullshit. I mean, there are gimmicks for each of the boards, which is obviously fine. You want that in there to keep them different, because there's ones like the Boo one we played where it's kind of like what we more think of a Mario Party nowadays, where the star moves around the map, and there are ones like Peach's birthday cake where the star is in one spot, and the goal is to go around the whole level to get back there.
Right. Yeah. And it has like the chaos and everything. I mean, yeah, it's just good. Like I don't have a whole lot to say about it, because at the end of the day, it's Mario Party. I mean, if you like Mario Party, this is more Mario Party, probably in a better way than it's been in a long time. And I'm gonna need to see when we do other levels. Like, I take everyone's word for it, but I'm gonna need to see the like longevity. Are we gonna enjoy this longer than we did Super Mario Party, which I felt like had about you had about 6 or 7 games, and then you started repeating a lot.
Definitely
of stuff,
longer than that one, just because the boards are just a lot more interesting. And I feel like even because it is the best of the whole series, I don't think the mini games were Super Mario Party fun. I think the mini games in that game were good.
Yeah.
But this is kind of taking the best of the series, just kind of helps it, especially when there's someone like me who hasn't played a lot of the vast majority of those in literal decades, and you who don't really remember any of them whatsoever.
Yeah.
So. Helps. As far as a new edition thing I find fun is the little sticker things you can post during them. That's a bunch of fun nonsense.
It is. I mean, it's overall kind of a minor thing, but they definitely could have done the positioning of those better, because with ours, like the third player character, if you do the sticker, it literally goes right in front of the text that people are trying to read.
It's the meta.
It's like they know.
Yep.
They know what they're doing.
The kind of good thing, at least for that, they could have done something to make it so it didn't do that. But at least for the most when that would affect, like after the first game or two or so, that's not really much of an issue, because people know everything. But first game it can kind of.
And not to like nitpick things to death or whatever. This is not the biggest deal or whatever. But Tim kind of funny did bring up, like, I think it probably would have been a decent idea too for them to find some way to have like maybe a mini map or something, kind of showing, at least just showing all of your people and the star or something, because it is a little annoying when like every person who plays has to like does their let's go down the star and like analyze shit or whatever. It's like you need to have that option to do it, but like it would have been nice if I was just like, oh, it's right there. Okay, cool. Like I wouldn't have had to pull up the map like every single time if it was just like, if I'm not trying to do anything crazy, and just like see that there. But again, minor things. But the one map we played was cool. I mean, it had some cool things going on. We didn't even do whatever the unlocking the Boo door thing. Like at all.
So on the Boo's mansion or whatever its level is called, you get these skeleton keys. You can open a bunch of doors, but if you go during open the ones like the northeast at night and you see King Boo, if you pay 150 coins, you can steal 3 stars.
Damn.
I think it works because I haven't actually seen it. I heard someone mention it. Like, it's just you take 1 from each player. So that's pretty crazy.
It's like an insta win, basically.
Big game changer. It's like 150 coins is a lot, but that's a swing of 6 stars or whatever.
Olivia had it.
Yeah.
She had like 200 something at some point. I like that so much can happen in that game, because like it's such a just chaotic point between skill and complete bullshit. And it's like, and you can win by either direction, and you have no clue.
Yep.
Is this going to be a skill game, or is this going to be a bullshit game?
Sometimes watching people can be frustrating because luck is involved a lot, but there is some strategy to it, obviously, especially when you get late game. watching some of the Easy Allies play, I'm like, no, you should have done this. You could have gotten the star. Like, there was one when one of the players was like 10 spots away on the Boo map. They had the dice block where you can choose your position, and they had the chain chomp whistle to move the star. Because someone was in front of them, they chose to move the star. And after
you could have gone.
they looked at chat afterwards, they're like, oh wait, I could have gotten the star? Oh well. Just stuff like that. It's like, pay attention.
I guarantee you, that's most people playing Mario Party.
I know.
They're probably playing with like their mom and stuff. Who's just like, I don't know, roll dice.
Yeah, I'm playing 5D chess when I play.
Oh,
It's for real.
Look at this bear, this monocule.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
People are gonna die.
I'm somewhere in between your grandma and Jeff. I am the midline between. I am the exact midpoint between your grandma and Jeff.
Well, I have a reputation to uphold, which is part of it.
That last time was just fucking bullshit. I mean, Jeff got some horse shit. Good luck there.
All skill, baby.
That's Mario Party. It's Mario Party.
When it's good for me, it's all skill. When it's bad, it's just bullshit, man.
I wonder.
It was a bad game until the end.
Sure. It's such a weird game to rank. Where's Mario Party gonna end up ranking in your top games at the end of the year?
Yeah, it's hard.
Weird one.
I mean, real talk,
It's a
I've taken a
strange
glance at my list. There's a chance I just don't put it on the top 15 just because I haven't played enough because I had that many games.
So you take the coward's way out, okay?
Yeah.
I see. Well, do you have any more Mario Party things? Sorry, I just don't have a whole lot to say.
Yeah. No, just really good. And so anyone who, is questioning like, oh, is this one worth it? I feel like this is the one that is worth it.
So far, yeah. I mean, you've watched a lot more of it, but yeah. I've only played one game, but so far I agree.
Yeah. Just again, the stuff they've done with it as far as the economy and as far as the random bullshit, it's not like it's random Mario Party bullshit, but not in the way of like the last couple where it's just kind of annoying bullshit. It's hard to actually verbalize, but people who have played know what I mean. But yeah, a lot of fun. Excited to play more. Finally got our copy in.
Oop. Thanks, Target. Being late.
Yeah, at the very least, we haven't had time to play it anyway. Soon.
But you know what we will make time to play, maybe, if it's good?
Oh, we're going to do it either way, Dory, because it's free to play.
Oh, yeah, it is free to play. All right, guarantee. You know what we're going to make time to play, Jeff?
Multiversus.
Ooh, baby, Bugs Bunny versus Daenerys Targaryen. Who's going to win in the fight?
All right, Darby. So the day after we made our roster, the floodgates, they opened.
LeBron James versus Elmer Fudd.
Yeah. So let's go through this and talk about these leagues, Darby. All righty. So first thing that lead like the day afterwards is a picture of the roster. Hungry Bucks, pro Smash player, mainly known from Melee, posted it on his YouTube things. Playtester looked like they got a hold of the game and just sent it to him like, here you go. And then WB took it down.
Naughty. Yeah.
Pretty much confirming it, and yeah, it confirmed, and it goes with all the other releases from like Jeff Grubb and the like. So yeah, it's all legit. But here's the roster that is on that picture. Some weird reindeer dog bear thing that's apparently an OC.
Strong start.
Yeah. Steven Universe, Batman, Harley Quinn.
We nailed it. We nailed it already.
Yep. Finn from Adventure Time, Jake from Adventure Time, Shaggy, Superman, Wonder Woman, Gandalf, Rick from Rick and Morty, Bugs Bunny, and Tom and Jerry.
Damn right.
Yep. And some other thing that's interesting we can tell from the character select screen is there's a 1 at the bottom left of all the characters, insinuating that there are levels to these characters, which kind of go with the free-to-play thing. But if they're kind of like the Injustice levels, they had an Injustice too, then okay, sure, whatever. There's a competitive mode where levels don't mean shit, then
I hope.
I get it's a free to play thing, so they want people to grind and all that kind of shit. But as long as there's a mode that doesn't like really affect gameplay, where you turn that off.
I'm just a little concerned with it being the free to play thing that there might not be a mode where you don't do that. Similar to Pokemon Unite.
Mm-hmm.
They might want you to feel powerful if you've shelled a bunch of money out or played a bunch of time. Yeah. I sincerely hope not. My interest in this game will like plummet if that's.
I have to imagine that's not the case, because the difference between Pokemon Unite to this and like it was more similar in Injustice is there is local there'll be local multiplayer, you assume.
Yeah, I think it's bad. I think it's horrible in Pokemon Unite too. I don't think that makes an excuse for it that much, Yeah. But I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I'm just concerned.
Or this being more of a fighting game, you can do either or. But yeah, and there are also apparently classes next to them on the top right of the screen. Like Batman and Harley Quinn have a sword. Jake and Shaggy have a fist. We got a fireball thing. Wonder Woman has a shield.
Yeah,
make her more a defensive character.
Classes.
Yep. I have no idea what the original character in Steven Universe thing is. Maybe it's an all-arounder. I don't know. Then we got more leaks, Darby. More crazier leaks. We got a design doc leak.
Design doc leak? Okay. I thought this was a show. I was like, wait, what?
Oop, it's gone. Okay, I can summarize it at the very least. So what had on there was the controller and stuff and screens from the game. Mm-hmm. But it looks like they were just kind of like doodles and concept art more than actual in-game shots for the most part. So you got some stages in there like apparently Finn's treehouse from Adventure Time. Earth during the Swifty concert from Rick and Morty. Apparently the Batcave is in. And just showing some stuff of that. It is a Smash thing with percentages. And it showed the controller, and it showed some things like there's normal attack, special attack, and neutral attack is something that's on there. It's like a weird thing where I think normal attack, what they had on the right bumper, it was on an Xbox controller on the design scene. And then like a neutral attack on the A/B, the bottom button, and then the one on the right was a special.
Strange.
Then they have jump and dash. There's no block
no blocking where we're going.
Yeah, which is apparently like Brawlhalla, which maybe coincidence or maybe not. That these are the two free to play platform
I'm
fighters.
expecting this to be a lot closer to Brawlhalla than Smash Bros.
But this might have 3 different attack buttons, so hopefully variety in that. But then someone else who looks like be a play tester and all that kind of stuff added some details. So we'll go through this stuff real quick. Cool. Give our impressions. Finn plays like Coin Battle, or Steve in Smash, which means he's going to be gathering resources. I don't know Adventure Time, so I don't know
neither do I.
So, hey, what I take from that is, some of these characters might be a little more complicated than whatever Brawlhalla. What I've seen from Brawlhalla.
Yeah.
Shaggy is literally based entirely on Ultra Instinct Shaggy. I'm all for this.
Let's go, baby.
yeah. I mean, it that makes sense. WB's going hard on that meme, like with the Mortal Kombat thing. Apparently, I mean, I'm gonna believe it at this point. This might be true, considering the actual leak was Ultra Instinct Shaggy might have led to this game's creation.
That's just like people, like whoever the people out there who like first started making those memes. Just like, I hope those people think about the fact that they may have helped contribute to a game, happening.
Yeah.
Because they decided to go make this a joke on the internet, and that's so cool to me.
Yeah.
And hilarious.
No sign of Morty in Rick's moveset, which probably means Morty might be his own character.
Yeah, maybe later on.
Yeah. No sign of Big Chungus in Bug's moveset. Same thing. Big Chungus is his own character.
Dead game.
Yeah.
Unless he's his own character in Dead Game.
Garnet from Steven Universe and Arya from Game of Thrones are in.
Let's go.
This also is considered significant because it confirms that different playtesters have different incomplete rosters. So different playtesters just had different characters to mess around with.
I hope this is true.
Having a second Steven Universe character makes sense. Steven Universe is very popular. And Arya is nice because it confirms, okay, Game of Thrones and the HBO adult shit is on the table for this. Not that it's surprising based on other
The
stuff
rest
we heard.
of this, yeah.
But also, we were right about Arya.
We were, yeah. How about that?
I've seen some people like, why Arya? It's like, well, why not her? I mean, she makes as much sense about anyone else.
I'm hoping for 2.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for 2.
Well, based on the, I'd be surprised if we don't get at least another Game of Thrones character at some
just
point.
so many possible characters,
Yeah.
you might run out of space at some point. But yeah, no.
And I think Arya can make it, they can do more interesting things with her compared to a lot of the other basic sword guys at the very least. You can do crazy things like Daenerys and having dragon stuff, and maybe put Melisandre for like magic shit if they wanted to go that route. And they have to make some stuff up and take some liberties, but
yeah.
But at least with Arya, she's kind of more smaller and agile and can do.
Yeah, you do that. We do it super fast.
Also, people have been kind of jokingly saying, but I would love it. Her being the Kirby of this game. She steals the people's faces. Oh, sorry, Game of Thrones spoilers, but yeah.
yeah. That would be pretty funny.
I don't think that will happen, but I'd love it.
Didn't even think about that, but I don't know. Like, especially if people have an ultimate move or something, I could potentially just see them doing something with that. I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious, though.
Yeah.
But
yeah, assume.
I mean, Game of Thrones, it's like oddly hard. You just think like so many crazy, fantastical things happen in that show that you're like, hell yeah, put them in here. But then you start thinking about the characters, and it's like, okay, well, the characters are actually pretty grounded, and most of them are just swords and stuff. And it's like, yeah, Daenerys has dragons, but it's not really like she herself doesn't really have any like offensive crazy thing or whatever. You're talking about Melisandre, but like Melisandre doesn't attack anyone in the show, so it's like it definitely gets to be a hard thing where everyone just kind of has swords, but regardless, like, you got to make it work because having Game of Thrones characters in there is just too cool.
I feel like I think Arya's a good pick. Like, especially I think they're gonna have multiple. Again, the more smaller, agile character.
Yeah,
and then putting in
my
like
type of character,
like John or someone like that. They want to go another one who can be more of an Ike style character.
Yeah,
Arya be Marth. Like John be Ike.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. I would like to see them just get really creative with Daenerys trying to introduce the dragons, but it would be somewhat difficult because, like, how do they fly in? How does that work? Exactly?
I think if they can somehow figure out a way to make it work, Daenerys is in because she's just that popular.
Yeah. At the very least, I feel like maybe it would be like Dragonstone and the dragons are flying for the stage. I mean, and the dragons are flying, or King's Landing and the dragons are flying.
Oh yeah, we're definitely probably get for a stage off. Did anything about that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. That's unsurprisingly, Game of Thrones would be the thing I'm most excited about in this game. I mean, it's my favorite book series of all time. So being able to have a Smash Bros. Game on King's Landing or some shit would be pretty sweet. Or on top of the wall.
Yeah.
You could like see.
They have multiple things.
Yeah,
like depending how they do like the kind of exciting thing about this is because we don't know, especially it's not announced yet, we don't know like what is the scale of this thing as far as that. I mean, obviously we want this to be good. It's like the opposite of Nick All-Stars where the only thing we're actually kind of worried about is that gameplay. Which is the most important thing in the end of the day. But at least, based on everything, we don't have to worry about everything else.
Nope, they have it. Yeah, they have that taken care of. They have the IP to just waltz right into this. All they needed to do was convince the suits that they can just like merge all their IP together. They did the hard. That was like the first really hard step. Is like, can we have Fred Flintstone face, like the Joker? So,
they did Space Jam 2, which makes it a whole lot less surprising.
That's what I've been saying.
And everyone's been saying that. Like, that's more jarring than this game.
Oh no, After Space Jam, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like, tame in comparison.
Yeah. Batcave, Finn's Treehouse, and Swifty Planet. Or stages, they have multiple variants, but it's likely the devs just testing which one they want, just kind of messing around. Maybe what
variants for what? No, I'm sorry.
Variants for like the Batcave and like each of the locations apparently had variants, but who knows what that means. Every alt is a full costume. Since the games are work in progress, some characters have multiple alts and some have none. The alts that the person saw include Pickle Rick, OG Harley, Bizarro Superman, Cake, the female cat Jake, Pirate Tom and Jerry, Gentleman Shaggy, and VA Chains for alts. This is where the free-to-play thing comes in.
For sure.
I mean, again, depending how this is a monetized thing, I might be buying a couple of these for some characters. Sure.
And I hope this is. I mean, I hope the level thing or whatever, again, is just like it's separated thing or whatever, and like the skins, like that's where you should lean into the like. I'm okay if you do League of Legends. Like you're not getting these skins without paying real money. That's fine. It's skins. That's perfectly fine. Make your money that way. Yeah.
What I am hoping though is each skin has a different recolors. Yeah. So it's not like Nick All Stars where you can have 4 of the same character and they look the exact same.
Yeah, I would hope. Yeah. I mean, this should have even. I mean, that problem should probably somewhat already take care of itself just because they're going to look completely different. You know, they're going to look different.
I just mean, especially if you got to pay for the costumes, like when people have default Tom and Jerry, each Tom's a different color. Yeah. Like if they just the default skin.
That's usually pretty standard. It's kind of crazy that Nick All Stars doesn't have that. I think Nick All Stars is a pretty big outlier. Like that was a pretty big oversight. So I would think that. Yeah.
It is percent based like Smash. Rick is projectile heavy and uses his portal gun, leaving portals that allies can go through, but not enemies.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also has an AoE attack that turns you into a helpless baby version of the OC.
Of the OC of the deer man.
Yep. Which is apparently named Rain. Maybe. Tom and Jerry is more like Rosalina and Luma, with Jerry being Luma, except Jerry can't be hurt. Slap like an attack when Tom swings a tennis racket and Jerry is the ball.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we can see based on these leaks and assuming like this stuff is true, it sounds like this went along with the doc from what I understood. So it sounds like this stuff is true and kind of goes along with all the other stuff we've heard. Makes sense how this could be monetized pretty easily. Yeah. Like we could easily see, but it's like, would they go that route? And it's like, yes, they are.
Yeah, which is what you want to. I mean, yeah, I would like to. I'm okay with the free to play thing if it's like, cosmetic.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay DLC for the characters afterwards,
probably.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. I want to see that gameplay, and that's the only really concern at this point. The gameplay is great, then this just be a game we'll be playing for.
Yes, yeah. I would advise everyone to keep a little bit of skepticism, just because if it comes out and the gameplay is just like everyone is like very similar to each other, it's not very good. Whatever that could be, it could quickly get to be like, okay, well.
The good news is if this particular leak is true, that shouldn't be an issue considering the way that Finn, Rick, and Tom and Jerry sound, because they sound very crazy.
Yeah, no, it sounds promising from all that. Yeah, for sure.
So, fingers crossed. I guess one final thing before I go. When do you think this could potentially be announced, especially all these leaks?
Yeah, the fact that we're getting all of this like really close together and everything. I mean, sometimes the gaming industry is guilty of like something leaks a bunch, so we immediately think like, oh, this thing must be imminent. When that's not necessarily the case. It might have just leaked. This thing might have leaked very early. It's like none of these announcements were planned, so like they didn't plan to trickle out all this information right here. That was not part of their plan. So like this was done, outside there. So I would advise people to not like immediately think, oh, this means Game Awards. It's coming out in February.
Yeah,
it's like.
That's why the people throwing out they thinking it could be a Game Awards.
Possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna,
that makes sense.
I was going to lean that way, but this game could also be a fucking year from now. I mean,
I feel like if it's especially with how leaky this is, its announcement's kind of more imminent because, like you said, sometimes these things can happen, and it is pretty far away. But a lot of this stuff seems more closer to announcement kind of stuff. It feels like it.
Playtesters, there's lots of stages, things like that.
Yeah. Especially with it being free to play, like not everything has to be quote unquote done or whatever, and just kind of have enough to throw out there.
Yeah. I was hemming and hawing a lot. Yeah, I think my prediction is next spring is my prediction for it coming out. Yeah. And maybe being announced Game Awards.
In real if it's I agree with that time frame, it being a possibility for sure, and maybe even very likely if it is. I think Game Awards has a very good chance. That's the kind of announcement like Keeley kind of sniffs, especially that Smash done. He's like, I want that. Yeah. Like even if it doesn't look the best thing, just saying Warner Brothers Smash game announcement.
Just having the big names, he'll be all over that anyway. Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, by no means do I think Keeley would ever turn this down. Like if they wanted to be at the Game Awards, they'd be at the Game Awards.
And from Warner Brothers standpoint, I mean, they've had their stuff at this kind of thing, so it's not like they would do it, and that'd get a lot of eyes on it and a lot of hype around it.
Yeah, and Jeff has announced Mortal Kombat games and stuff before. So yeah,
whoop, whoop.
Very strong possibility.
Indeed,
pretty wild.
All right, Darby, this is kind of more older news, but we said we talk about in the next podcast. So
Old
we're doing it.
wrinkly news.
Yep, week old news as we're recording this, but let's do it. State of play. We had last week react to. We talked about it a little bit. We had time to marinate on it, see other people's reactions and all that kind of shit.
Soak in that state of play juice.
So I'll go down the list here. It's not a very long list. Obviously we don't have to talk about everything more than 2 seconds.
Thank you.
Yeah. But we'll talk to things that's interest us a little more, and then we can talk about the state of play a little bit.
What are we, the president? Sorry.
Yeah. First game, Death First, Let It Die. Yep.
Apparently, Easy Allies know this or whatever. It's apparently.
I thought it might have been Let It Die. Like I thought that might have been a chance of that, but I thought the game was just kind of dead. And I think I did mention during reaction. This looks very Suda-esque, which Suda was related to the first Let It Die.
Hilarious. That's
yeah,
cool.
I don't think he's involved in this one at all, but he was involved somewhat with the first one. But yeah, so yeah, nothing I'm interested in, but cool. That's something that didn't look like it was going to. I didn't think it was going to get anything. Got I guess a sequel or whatever. So that's cool
for sure.
Yeah, people are excited.
Every day.
We are OFK. Music.
We are OFK now.
We are.
We killed them all. We're the band now.
Fuck yeah, man.
This is going for a Life is Strange vibe. I feel like there's a Life is Strange vibe there. Is that vibe connecting with you at all, Jeffrey Mayo, or are they kind of missing the Life is Strange vibe?
I didn't feel particularly anything from it. I think it's a cool idea, especially with the whole each episode ending with a song from their EP kind of thing.
Yeah, that is very cool. Yeah,
but I don't know if it's something because I got the Life is Strange vibe. If it comes out and reviews are really good, and I hear it from the right people like Michael Huber and Elise Willems and the like, and say oh yeah, this is Life is Strange and it's good and stuff, I'll be like, okay, I'll pencil you in.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I think it was cute, and I'm not going to be super surprised if it comes out and people are like, oh wait, no, this is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I also wouldn't be surprised if it's just kind of
there.
It's okay. Yeah, whatever. Because it definitely, it's kind of cheesy. It seems heartfelt, and there were some moments in there I kind of liked the characters and everything, but it also just felt like it was trying too hard a little bit, and it was I don't know. It didn't immediately grab me as much like that, but like you said, I'm gonna keep a side glance at this game coming out for sure.
Yeah, and again, I think Huber expressed some interest in it, and I believe Isla said one of her friends is involved, was the main speaker in that. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, probably hear from them at the very least to get some impressions.
I mean, it's kind of closer to some of what my type of music has become. So the songs are really good.
Yep,
that could be cool. Could be cool.
Okay. Bug Snacks, the Isle of Big Snacks.
Big boys.
Big Snacks. Free DLC coming next year. I'm excited for this, Darby.
Yeah, that is very cool. And not to immediately steer away from the actual DLC, but I agree with Blood, who says with this being free DLC, I think that basically confirms there's a Bug Snacks 2 coming. I think if there wasn't, they'd be trying to get money from this. So I think I agree with that. Yeah.
Especially not going to spoilers, the way it ended is yeah. And I really want that. So yes. Bug Snacks, I think I put as my biggest surprise for last year.
Yeah, I think so.
So obviously I'm hyped for this DLC. I'm excited to play the game more and be with those characters more. And I'll throw this out there just in case someone, because they didn't say it during the actual thing, but kind of press releases and after the fact for people who have played it. What it will do when you boot up the game, it will put you before the point of no return and you can go do it.
Oh, okay.
But it does sound like this is a thing, especially the house stuff. You might get more out of it if you start the game fresh and kind of go through it. So if you're interested in Bug Snacks, which I obviously recommend it, maybe wait for the DLC to this come out, especially since it's free, and just do it all in one go.
Yeah, I imagine, I'm sure you'd like to do the home stuff, but do you think you are actually going to play the whole game again just for that, or do you think you're just going to jump into the DLC?
I'm probably going to jump in the DLC, especially next year looking pretty crazy, just knowing my schedule. Probably do that.
Yeah,
And well, who knows? Especially if I don't do the mess around with the home stuff and some of the other stuff, I might get that itch whenever Bugsnax 2 does come around. Might just replay. It's not a long game. Get into it then.
Yeah.
But no, this made me very happy, and honestly, probably my favorite announcement out of this, just because it means, not surprising, we're getting more Bugsnax, and I agree with Blood, and your agreement with him that this probably mean good thing for Bugsnax too.
Yeah, and it's a whole new area, right? Like
yes, it's gonna. Yeah, they kind of show like an island appears in the distance and stuff. So new snacks and all that kind of fun stuff.
New snack.
Fangamer, release your Bunger plush. I want it.
What crazy twist is gonna happen in this?
I don't know. I am curious, because there are different parts of Bugsnax. So and part of it is the kind of characters and like their story. So I'm hoping it kind of goes into a little more stuff with those characters than just here's more Bugsnax to catch.
Yeah. Cool.
But again, it's free. FNAF, Friday Nights at Freddy's, Security Breach. This is a weird one, Darby, because it's such a big departure, and
Very big departure.
Who knows if it will work?
Yeah, because it is. Even we kind of Five Nights at Freddy's has just ballooned into such a thing, and it's definitely even younger than us generation thing. It was their big thing, but Five Nights at Freddy's is a sweet ass game. I mean, the original one. I mean, it's a very simple concept, but they do it really well, and the flipping between the cameras and everything. Like I said, it's very simple, but I think some of the best horror is simple stuff or whatever. This is one of those things I worry about, it kind of
trying too much.
Yeah, they're stepping into an area that is just a completely different type of horror, different type of game or whatever, and it just won't I'll be honest, regular Five Nights at Freddy's looks a lot scarier to me than this game. This game looks more visually impressive for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on. And and that might be fine. It might not need to be as scary because it's fun in a different way. But I definitely look at it, and I don't know if I'm the other one, but I look at that old one with just the cameras flipping around. There was something so small but charming, but it had a vibe to it, and you get out the camera.
He's like, oh fuck, where'd Foxy go?
Yeah, and something about everyone being static like that almost made it scarier. I mean, I've always said I'm someone who kind of more low definition
low-key
horror, more low-key horror that scares me more, Doki Doki Literature Club, or that IB game scared the shit out of me. It's there's a lot of those, so I definitely do worry that they might be biting off more than they can chew. I think there's a chance. There's some vibes I get from that.
Yeah, I agree with that, but also kind of thinking about this does feel like, in a way, a natural evolution. They wanted to expand what they wanted to do, but keep it right. But again, it's all about the execution, which I think this could do well for them if they can nail it and keep it scary.
Well, I understand, especially with how big the IP is, they probably feel well, fuck, we gotta try something with this.
And
even if it doesn't work,
and there's some FNAF kind of flair in there, because you're looking at cameras for this thing. Instead of you being stuffed into Golden Freddy shit or whatever happened to kill you, you're going into it to kind of avoid things. And I kind of it's, even though you're walking around, doesn't like there's any combat, you're when you get into the robot, it's not to fight, it is to avoid.
Right, which is a good sign. That's smart. Dude wouldn't definitely not want this to just become action
Resident Evil
in some way. Yeah, basically. I mean,
Death Store's coming to PS4, PS5. Cool. Kart Rider Drift. I think apparently this might be one of those games that's big in some Asian countries, but we're lowly peasants over here and don't really understand.
We are lowly peasants.
Yep. KOF 15 getting a demo announced for this month. Got a new character announced. I forgot her name, but she looks cool.
Have you ever played a King of Fighter?
Yes. I can't remember. I think it was 14. I messed around.
So many, apparently.
Yeah. I also downloaded, I think, a Fatal Fury on my Switch, messed around with that a little bit, but after the Terry announcement, because it was pretty cheap. But I messed around a little bit. It is fun. Don't have much interest in this game, unfortunately, partly because I know how I am with fighting games.
It's you can't be into a bunch of fighting games
unless you're like Max, who dedicates yourself to it and streaming it.
If it's your livelihood, then sure.
Or you only play fighting games, which some people do.
Right.
But yeah, it looks
there's
cool.
I can't even I haven't even put nearly as much time into Guilty Gear as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And hell, I love MK11. I barely play it. It's just
Yeah.
fighting games. It's just rough to be into a lot of them.
Yeah, but cool. Everything's looking good, so I'm hoping it's good as everyone wants it to be. First Class Trouble, social deduction game coming out on PlayStation Plus
Listen,
now.
Everyone, just stop trying to do the fake we're playing the game live thing, because this was one of the most egregious. I think this game looks like it could be fun. It could fun Among Us.
I think we
type
should
of thing
give it a try since it's free.
Yeah, for sure. That was just, don't do that shit. Look at the acting. It's just. It's
weird
and
and confusing because it's they showed what was their gameplay, but it made it sound like they were watching a recording of themselves doing it.
But they were, it was in between. They were talking about this game we did last night, but then they acted like they were doing. It's do a normal trailer here, and you can give it to a streamer or something.
Yeah.
If you want that content, then give it to fucking some big streamer or whatever to play it, and let it actually be natural.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that should have been one of those. You're looking at this trailer, it's this is what we're sending the state to play. It's guys, I know what you were trying to do. And because it's probably one of those, if you just made a trailer for the game, you don't really communicate the good parts of the game, which is the social things like that. I know it's hard to communicate, but that ain't it.
Yeah. Well, I guess regardless of the trailer, which I know is important, will change people's interest on it. But as far as putting this on PlayStation Plus day one, I think that's a smart play for this kind of game. Especially since now, and I'm annoyed when anyone does this, and it still annoys me a little bit. I get it when there's the Fortnite thing, which was exactly a carbon copy of Among Us, but I hate it whenever now a social deduction game kind of so it's copying Among Us. It's no.
These things have been around for fucking ever. Among Us.
Also, Among Us only happened a little over a year ago. This game has been probably in development longer than that.
Among Us itself was a derivative idea, which is great.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Nothing against the Among Us devs or anything.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But apparently you can't have Shibuya in your game without copying Persona 5. It annoys me.
It's a real life ass location.
Yeah. Some fans are just annoying. But I'm interested to try this game out, and sure, it'll be fun watching one of those games, at least the streamers and people we watch.
And I feel I'm very bad at predicting what game is going to blow up as the next big streamer game or whatever. So this could absolutely be one of those that we're oh, that was a weird trailer, and then all of a sudden it's the biggest game on Twitch. We're okay, well, fuck, I didn't see that coming. I could whatever.
Again, PlayStation Plus will definitely help with that, at least for a little bit. Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Star Ocean 5.
Rough faces and character models on this bad boy.
Hey, Siri staple.
Siri wants to talk about.
Thank you.
Does Siri have thoughts on Star Ocean?
I don't know. But yeah. I think the rest of it looks pretty good overall. Besides the faces. Yeah. It's been a hot minute since I played a Star Ocean game. I played Star Ocean 3, which is about 20 years ago, I think, at this point. Maybe not that long. I don't know. But
I don't know.
Definitely big change. This one definitely, even what I know of the last one and other people kind of expressing this is definitely looking at Xenoblade and let's do more of that.
We want that.
We want that shit.
It definitely seems like it's getting some budget, but not all the way the budget. It seems like they push the budget heavily in things look at these environments, look at these particle effects. Please don't look at the character models. don't look at them too hard.
Well, that's the thing that sucks because I've seen the anime artwork for the main characters. Oh, those look really good, and then you see the models and I see what you did trying to do here, I guess.
The splash art always looks great.
Yeah.
Even on the smallest games, because you always can get one guy who's just really good at drawing.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder.
But then there's some games like Tales of Arise, and I think the way the 2 and character designs aside for some of the characters, and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, like those translate really well.
Or can't get that because of the budget.
Yeah.
Like Tales of Arise has serious budget this time around, you know.
Yeah, and then those are just a couple examples, but there are a lot of games that do it well, and you see this and you're like, oof.
Yeah. It's rough when you're going for the 3D character models that are like kind of leaning towards more realism within the anime thing or whatever, but you don't have the budget to fully make that happen. You get this weird in between where it just doesn't look good. It's like if you had like that's why, like, if you're a smaller dev, it's like if you make something more simple looking, it can look better than that. You know, it's like this game is just in that weird middle point.
Well, I guess you're mentioning Tales of Arise. I imagine this is the case. Especially since we're probably getting some Tales of Arise like sales soon. Like it's going to go on sale for Black Friday and stuff soon. Probably gonna help the sales of that game a little more. Just seeing the comparisons, like, oh yeah, this Tales game looks pretty good compared to the other similar style anime game I just saw in that State of Play. Sure. Yeah. Finally, they closed on Little Devil Inside.
Yeah, I expected to see a little bit more, but I do think what we saw looks very neat.
Yeah, I watching it again, I like what they showed more. I think it's a good like companion piece to the first trailer kind of thing. But since it has been a year, I wish they showed a little more like as variety in it.
Yeah,
But
but
kind of more subtle stuff.
focusing on it does I think the overworld map seems pretty cute and cool, and like it seems like there's a lot going on between like you making decisions for different things, and like the environment seem like they're very like super varied and everything. Like I have a feeling this is gonna like when this game comes out, this is gonna like be reviewing surprisingly really high, and
I agree.
I see this being kind of a sleeper hit thing.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense why Sony has been pushing it hard and maybe even closing with this, even if the size of the game necessarily maybe that wasn't the best choice. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you. I think this is going to be one of those sleeper hits whenever it comes out. Who knows when, because we didn't actually get a date or a year.
Yeah, but it does look ambitious. So you know, it's like take your time.
Yep. And this was Kickstarter to start out with.
Yeah,
and
I think just the putting that July date on it was just a mistake.
Maybe it was just. Maybe it was one of those games that kind of saw like the interest in it, so they decided to add some more stuff to it to kind of.
Well, it's probably a small team that is not great. Doesn't really know how to project that out as well. They might like July might have seemed reasonable to them, but they're a small team. And it might have the closer they were like, oh god, no, this is
well. And depending on how their marketing deal works, maybe if they're getting a little funding from Sony saw the interest in it and like, hey, it's a little more budge.
Yeah.
To it, and they're like, "Oh, we can add some stuff we were planning to put in but couldn't in."
Yeah,
Yeah. If so, great. Well, also take as much time as you need.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. As far as general state of plays, this one definitely made what state of plays actually are a little confusing, and just their messaging behind it.
Yes, I like you said, the state of play. I think there's just like very little rhyme or reason to this, and there's very like. I struggle to like I'm starting to struggle to see the point of like not the point of them doing these things, but just like state of play. Like what does state of play mean to you at this point? Because to me it means very little, because it can mean such a wide variety of things that it almost having its own name is just pointless at this point. I mean, it's just Sony press conference, but it's like it could be everything from something that could just be a few little tweets of some third party small games to the fucking Last of Us or some shit. It's like the variance is like way too high.
Well, I think even I agree with you. There's some variance there, but I don't think necessarily as large as people's even have we made it sound, because it's pretty much like all state of place. For the most part, I think there was one maybe in August of last year that was a little overall stronger. I can't remember what its ender was, but anyway,
Final Fantasy VII, a remake one.
Well, so yeah, let me finish. I feel like this is on par with a lot of the other ones, besides it not having a giant big closer, because a lot of the other ones had the big third party game to justify it. Final Fantasy VII multiple times, Resident Evil 3, Last of Us.
Yeah, but the point is that they did have that, So
Yeah.
like you come out of it with
Well, and then
the
they've
headlines are
also
like-
had a couple. I think they had another couple of these where it's just kind of like this.
Yeah,
Even some weaker than this.
They have, for sure. I mean, and I think that's part of my complaint too. It's just like, why do we need to make a pomp and circumstance about it if you're not, I think we're doing too many of these. Honestly, I think Nintendo is a little better at this than Sony is. I mean, and Nintendo has not been perfect either. They've definitely what a direct mean has deteriorated some for Nintendo too, and I've been complaining about that at times or whatever. I think back in the day, I think a Nintendo Direct held more weight than it does now. But still, I still think a Nintendo Direct holds a lot more weight than a State of Play. Like when you go into a Nintendo Direct, you get a feeling that like we have really like we've waited for everything to collect together. Here's the big like boom thing in some way, shape, or form. That there's gonna be
At the very least with
State of Play
Nintendo
does not
Direct
feel
you can
like
go into, and there are going to be some exceptions to this for big Nintendo Directs for sure. Someone can easily point out one or two of them, but you really expect one kind of big first party announcement,
right? And I think that's worth criticizing in these things that just like. I don't know. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world, or whatever. It's not like this egregious thing, but I just do think that like when you have such a disparity between like what you're showing here and just like like not having the big things and some of them not the others, it makes people like me, who again, if I wasn't doing this podcast, I've seen enough of these now that like the next State of Play, if it wasn't for our podcast, I'd be like, I'll just whatever, see the headlines after and see what it's like. I'm not gonna like go out of my way to go see it live as much or whatever. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think there's a good many other people who have come and watched several of these live, and they're like, okay, I'm good. I'm good next time. I'll just.
I was going to say, partly jokingly but partly seriously, that if the next State of Play does have like a Final Fantasy VII Resident Evil 3 level bombshell at the end, like some of those other ones, they better hope there's like a teaser leak ahead of that, like not from them ahead of time.
Yeah,
because all the other ones we kind of knew those games were coming because of other circumstances, not from Sony themselves.
Yeah, true. And I do think you're gonna start bleeding your audiences of these.
Yeah.
Oh
no, I agree with you. I think whenever the next State of Play is announced, if it's just a general, hey, a State of Play is happening, and nothing like added on to it, especially if it's a third. If they don't say pretty much first parties included, I think people or excluded. If they pretty much insinuate first party in, I think people will be excited, and I think that makes more sense. Yep. But they say third party indies or something, people are not going to pay attention to it as much.
Yeah,
that's what people pretty much said after this one.
Yeah, until I see the like, oh, such and such was out. I'm like, okay, sweet. Let's go see it. Yeah.
And I feel like they're reason people, understandably expected like Final Fantasy 16 or something. On par.
And because you're right that excluding the big things, the other ones have been similar, but they had the big things. Yeah. So it's like they've had Final Fantasy and Last of Us Ghost of Tsushima, those other type of things like in here. So it's like, whatever. But again, I don't want to overblow it. It's all video games. And Sony's certainly in a fine place, even if no one watches their like little press conferences at all, they're still in a fantastic spot. So
who else seems to be in a pretty fantastic spot? Devolver Digital.
Well, they like killed 3 people in their their E3 conference, I think. So,
only 3. Darby. So yeah, a lot of interesting Devolver Digital news recently. Devolver Digital has become a public company, and Sony made a 5%
sellout.
Made a 5% invest in them, and apparently they are estimated to be worth like almost $1 billion.
Ooh.
So Devolver is a pretty big company, actually, and they also acquired a couple studios as well with all this announcement. They acquired Dodgeball, known for Enter the Gungeon, Nerial, known for Reigns and Card Shark, and Firefly Studios, known for the Stronghold series. So kind of, from what I know, studios that are already kind of related to Devolver, but just kind of...
Yeah,
like Sony buying Insomniac, kind of bringing them in, like, you're officially one of us. I'll show you a little more budget. I think this is big, yet locking down the Enter the Gungeon devs, like, in particular, is one, like, people love that game. It sells well. So having them on lockdown is good, I think, for them. And this kind of shows they're a bigger company than we sometimes think.
Billion with a B.
Yes, it was like just short of $1 billion.
I guess you have a bunch of small devs, but you have so many. There's small games that you publish, but you have so many of them. You go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they.
Well, I imagine Fall Guys helped.
I was about to say they don't own it anymore, but they published. Yeah. Epic hasn't now, but they published Fall Guys. Yeah. So that's yeah. Having that launch, and I don't know if they might still make like a lot of money for. I don't know what the deal is now.
Yeah, I don't know how that deal works.
At the very least, even if you just were making the money at launch, you made a lot of money.
Oh yeah, so craziness. Does change your opinion of Devolver Digital one way or the other?
I mean, I think, like you said, I mean, they're a bigger company. You kind of think of them as like the smaller indie company over here, or whatever. Which I mean, they do have a lot of like small, scrappy games, and they just have a very like kind of. Not like they have a very not anti-corporate, but like just like they don't feel like a video game big corporation like these other ones, but like they're clearly financially a bigger company than you would think.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess it kind of makes sense more because whenever we talk, I know it's partly because of the style of presentation, but we also do kind of go for the games. We kind of put them out there just slightly below the big indie conferences, and they're like the only one. Like when we talk about ones we're kind of looking forward to, it's all the big ones and then Devolver. That's the way it's been the last couple of years.
But it's cool because they don't. I mean, outside of Fall Guys, so like they don't really have like these like. Necessarily super big like mass appeal games or whatever, but it seems like they're still making a lot of enough money to be a very successful company with these smaller ones. And I hope they just stay a company that's weird.
Yeah,
I'm
not necessarily have a fear of it, but I maybe see if someone have a fear, it's like okay, maybe this changes them one way or the other. No. I don't know, but yeah, I don't expect it. At least I hope it not.
It's just so much of their identity to be not that it feels, And
I imagine I think they're obviously very smart, the people that are in charge there, like knowing what their fans or people are interested in as far as like what games and the kind of persona they give, that they're not going to change anything. If they do, they'll probably lead to more bad things than good.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. All right, let's talk about Blizzard.
Speaking of more bad things than good.
Yeah. There's a couple Blizzard news. Before we get to the one we're going to talk about the most, all right, let's get the other stuff out of the way, which is kind of, well, one of them is bigger news, but yeah. First thing, Blizzard co-leader Jen O'Neill is stepping down from her position and leaving the company by the end of the year. So she's kind of right now, she's stepping down from the co-lead. She's been co-leading with Mike Ybarra for 3 months. She's stepping down from that position effective immediately, kind of working in some random position and then leaving at the end of the year. So, yeah.
And she just got that position.
Yeah. And she hasn't made a statement as far as I know. Like, I heard Andy Cortez say this, and I agree. Or Andy Cortez was kind of funny. Like, it would be more make you feel better if she said, like, oh, I just got this fantastic position at such, and that's why I'm leaving. No, there's nothing.
It feels like don't worry guys, I'm gonna save the ship. It takes a look inside. Oh fuck.
Good luck, Mike. Yep.
Everything's on fire.
And there's other stuff. Blizzard is we need to see how they go, but they're doing more stuff like saying the thing like, oh, we're going to add more people of color, LGBT, and they have all these programs and stuff now to make it a safer, better place for non-white men, pretty much. But
he's saying a lot of things.
Yeah, I need to see that effectiveness, or at least hear it from employees through whatever sources.
I don't even know what I fucking need to see from.
I know.
At this point, I'm just so exhausted. I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's such a mess. Partially because.
Yeah. Well, BlizzCon 2022 has been canceled. Because of a lot of shit, probably.
Pick your reason.
Yeah. But we're probably a nail in the coffin that Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 have both been delayed. And I know what you're thinking. How can you be delayed when you don't have a date? Well, it's simple. They internally had 2022 for both games, so they delayed it. So it's 2023 or later at this point. So this conversation coming up, not going to really do much with Diablo 4 because Darby and I have no real frame of reference.
Yeah, we
for
are.
that.
We are. We have. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about our interests.
Yeah. Overwatch 2. What the fuck, Darby? What is going on with this game? I mean, I know all of Blizzard's bullshit, but it's a lot to do with it.
How funny in hindsight. I mean, it's already funny, but how much funnier is it going to be in hindsight that our looking forward to 2021 thumbnail for our podcast this year had Tracer on it?
Well, I'm glad we don't have to repeat that. Overwatch 2 is not going to be discussed in any of that 2022 shit.
What a fucking nightmare. I mean, I don't know how to sugarcoat this at all. I mean, and it's one of those things, if it was a different type of game in different circumstances, I would be like, we all need to calm down, let them take as much time or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if it was, if we were like, people were losing their minds about if God of War right now got pushed to 2023 or something, it'd be like, this sucks. But, it's a single player game. Let them, develop this thing and make it really good or whatever. This is a free update to a service game that is it's a competitive multiplayer game. It's designed to get content like this, to keep it going. This stuff's not even going to cost money when it does come out. It's not even really a new sequel. And they've been making these characters and maps the whole fucking time, just like they normally do. I mean, I know they made them the new engine and everything, and then they're changing to 5v5 and everything. There are changes happening.
Yeah.
But if Activision wasn't stepping in here about let's make the
we
Activision
need that
Blizzard,
too.
Yeah, we need that too. Then you can't tell me. I think all these same things would have happened, but we would have just gotten these new characters, new maps, and a 5v5 change, just like we got a roll lock change.
Yeah.
The 5v5 is a big change. It's no bigger than roll lock. I mean, it's the same type of thing. It didn't have to be in a sequel. It's in a sequel for this arbitrary dumb reason. So the whole take your time thing is kind of thrown out the window when you've been making all the same content you were making for years that kept this game one of the most popular games and a game that everyone wanted to keep coming back to because it was always getting new stuff. They didn't stop doing that. They just stopped releasing it.
Yep.
And that just makes this a goddamn nightmare.
Well, it's getting close to 2 years at this point. It's going to be 3 years before the game actually comes out, which is just crazy for this type of game. And like you saying, the circumstances are a lot different from most of the other ones when people complain about delays, for sure. I know we're closer to it, but still, it's a lot different. Like this, like you said, this sequel shouldn't exist. It shouldn't have to be. I wish they could have appeased and been like, what about Overwatch 2.0? Version 2.0.
And it's you could the single player campaign that can come out in 2023. Sure, go for it. Great, that's
take
fine.
your time on that and make it as crazy as you want. Sure.
And it sucks because it feels like the Overwatch dev team is almost being punished for wanting to make a very ambitious single player campaign thing. Which is a cool thing they're doing. It's a cool ass thing, and it seems like it's so much more involved than just it's a little expansion story mode thing. I mean, that thing is crazy. They're gonna be doing so many cool things, but they're almost being punished for wanting to make that really good by forcing them to just put their game on life support while they wait for that to arbitrarily these two things that are disconnected from each other have to release at the same time. It was always dumb. But now that it's 2023, it's not only dumb, it is damaging. This is horribly damaging for the brand.
Yeah. I do wonder how much of it is as far as what the problem is, the multiplayer versus the single player. Is it a good bit of both? Is it just really the single player that's holding things up and they could have released the multiplayer by now or coming up soon or
good question.
Well, especially with the multiplayer, because Darby, they reconfirmed this. Overwatch 2 is still going to be what they use for Overwatch League.
Yep.
This upcoming season, which starts in April, if I'm not mistaken.
It does.
So they will be playing Overwatch 2 close to a full year before the rest of us can play it. I mean, potentially not that long because there might be betas, but you get what I mean.
I feel like there probably will be a beta at some point, especially since they are playing a build of Overwatch 2. But I mean, we were even talking about the how weird that was going to be if it wasn't out by the start of Overwatch 2. If there was like a few month delay where like that,
or
that
even
would
if a
be
beta
bummer.
wasn't coming out like a little bit before Overwatch 2 that they're playing.
Now it's like that's cute. Now it's like
Yeah.
this is just not even close. It's just not even going to be close to that time. And goddamn, it's just such a mess. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Even if it's the multiplayer that's holding things up, I mean, if in the normal timeline, they're like, okay, we're gonna do this 5v5 change, they at least would have been putting content out for this game. I mean, like,
Without characters.
yeah, they were putting characters out even when roll lock was coming up, and that was something they had to think about. I mean, obviously, you're putting out characters knowing that the game's about to change to 5v5. That obviously is not the easiest thing because you're going to have to worry about balancing for 6v6 and 5v5 when you're putting out characters. But there's no way they would have come to this conclusion independently.
They were putting out characters at a pretty steady clip and stages where the point where, as me who didn't follow it as closely as you guys, I just felt in my gut like, I think it's time for new Overwatch anything.
Right.
And then it was out like the next day.
You're right. Yeah. The feeling,
but then after Echo, it's just, they were like, oh, we're done.
Yep.
It's like,
and it's another thing like I bring up every time, but it's a real thing. They're competitors like Fortnite and League of Legends. We are 100% on that clip. Like if you're a fan of one of those games, like you said, you can like not pay attention for a little bit, and you just already know when it's like there's gonna be something new. Yeah, there it is. It's
well,
like,
yeah, not Apex, Valorant, they're all releasing shit like at a good steady clip, and keeping their fans happy.
New character,
yeah. And like Apex is on fire, which is just a battle royale version of Overwatch in a lot of ways.
Yep.
As far as style with characters and stuff, but yeah.
Overwatch really is the outlier there, which is crazy because their player base is just as much, if not more than some of these games.
Yeah.
At least it was, and I think it still is pretty high, but like I think it's going down. Overwatch League viewership is going down.
Anyone.
Oh god, no, I've barely watched Overwatch League. I've barely played Overwatch this year. And that was like I'm already feeling that way. A whole nother year.
Well, we're saying a whole nother year. It's November. Odds are it's gonna be a year and a half from now.
God damn. It's just like I mean, like my playtime and just the overall paying attention to that scene has already gone down so much, and it just like
well, and as far as us actually playing it, like I have more interest a little bit, some more interest in watching Overwatch League because it's the 5v5 at the very least, because I want to see how that looks.
Yeah. And
that can carry at least some of that. But if it's probably not going to make me want to play the game anymore, because it's going to be like, man, why can't I play this? I mean, it's going to be so weird because we don't have a frame of reference of how it works. We can only go by what we see pros do, like for anything as far as 5v5 meta.
And it's gonna be weird for the pros because they're the only people playing this. They can't go on the ladder or anything and grind this out. They can
only play each other.
Only play each other. And if you're someone, because like right now you can like sign someone from Contenders or something up onto your team middle of the league. You're probably not going to do that because they haven't played the game.
Yeah.
No one else other than the people in the league are even playing the game. It's like I would not want to be like an Overwatch League coach pro or anything like out of all the esports, that has to be just the most tumultuous one. Like it already was just with Blizzard and so many things that's happened, and this is just like this year is going to be. I'm sure it's not going to be fun to be an Overwatch League player just because you can't really scout the game like you should be able to, and like. It's going to be like a weird closed wall system. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to something good, Darby.
I'm just glad that I have gotten into some of these other multiplayer games. So.
I'm happy for you. I don't play a lot of them anyway, so like it doesn't affect me as much, but this is still frustrating because I do love Overwatch.
Yeah.
At least I have Pokemon Unite for my multiplayer fix.
That's right, baby.
Online fix. But let's talk about that Elden Ring.
Let's talk about it.
We got a gameplay preview, pretty beefy, like long one. Maybe what the game journalist watched a month or two or wherever that was ago, maybe. I think Andy Cortez, kind of funny, mentioned he was playing it this weekend, if I understood the tweet right. So might get some hands-on impressions soon. that'd be cool. But
Neat.
Darby, what'd you think of that Elden Ring gameplay preview?
Jeffrey, I was very impressed.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Very impressed.
I gotta want it. Like I mentioned it like when it was shown on E3. Like I don't know why this is the FromSoft game that's kind of making me really want to play it. Like I know all of them are great, but this is the one that's making me really want to play it. And seeing that now, it's like yeah, I'm still feeling that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting for me. I mean, maybe I should go back and look at them, but like this is the first time I felt that. I mean, and I'd heard some of these things, but none of the all the trailers had just looked like FromSoft trailers with a little bit more of a fantasy.
So I feel like for me, it was kind of the mixture of the stuff we saw in here was kind of stuff we kind of heard about already, but it just kind of, at least with the trailer, put some visuals to it, so at least it made me easier to imagine that, which helped. And for whatever reason, just the visual, like the fantasy-ness of this one is appealing to me more. Just
I get
exactly
that.
what they're doing.
I definitely get the setting and stuff. It was like, I mean, because Bloodborne is like an amazing setting to me, but it's just like that kind of game doesn't necessarily speak to me. So just liking the setting, I'm like, you know, whatever. The FromSoft game doesn't necessarily mean everything. So for me, that's all I was getting from the other Elden Ring. I was like, cool setting. Looks like a FromSoft game. You know, I was like, I'm like probably out. But so this is the first time where I was like, everyone talked about the open world in this, but like I think I always like internally in my head thought that people were probably like overblowing the open worldness of it. It was like probably just slightly more open environments. They're like, whoa, open world. I'm like, that's what I was expecting, honestly, in my head. I wasn't necessarily expecting this, like how Breath of the Wild this looks in a lot of ways. How much like, it looks like the exploration looks fun, which like that's not really something I've seen people play a lot of Bloodborne. And there's exploration, Bloodborne, Dark Souls. There's explorations like within the paths, like go down this other path to do this other thing. This looks way more like fucking go. You know, it's like you have a wide world to go around. And the fact that it still has the Dark Souls, the boss fights and all that stuff, but it's like Breath of the Wild, Shadow of the Colossus style, where it's like you're just going to wander upon some of these. You're going to wander into this dungeon, and I might do this dungeon at a completely different time than you. I'm just guessing. That's kind of what it feels like.
But anything they described the way it looks, I think that will be the case. And even with the dungeons, it sounds like they can be maybe pretty open-ended, like as far as how you tackle them. Which, you know, Ghosts and Stray like, oh yeah, man, I went to Dark Side Castle or some shit. I had to fight this crazy monster. Like, I went there. I didn't have to fight that thing at all. I just went around back, man. It's like, fuck.
They welcomed me. We had a party.
We had sex.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I think the gameplay is doing some interesting stuff with the abilities and stuff.
The magic, like just, you know, doing the magic spells and shit. And you had a weird, like, spiritual magic bow and arrow thing, and the summons look cool.
Seems like there is more to it than just the dodging and slashing and everything, which is great with the other ones. But like, it looks like this one's more varied or whatever. I mean, it might be just as punishing, but at least like I like the like you're making the clones and doing all this other stuff and cool shit.
You had a giant beam.
Giant.
Yeah, that's cool. And co-op was like it.
Yep.
Might be crazy. I don't know how it compares to the other FromSoft games. I know they had some co-op, but I don't know like how, you know, limited maybe they were. Especially since this is open world and it looks like, based on what they showed, you can just kind of jump in the game and do whatever the fuck you want with it.
And I mean I love that shit, especially I mean the kind of just like openness, but also just like complete freedom. I think there's a lot of open world games that are like, it's a big environment, but like what you do is, you know, you're kind of very shoved into a direction with that, or like the environment's not super interactable. But like this look like the platforming actually looks really cool. I like the mountain doing all that. Like it looks like there's a giant ridge up there. You can actually go up and see that.
And also fighting a dragon while riding your mount.
Yes, yeah.
You're able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, and just like they're finding like, because I know FromSoft is just like top of the game when it comes to like fight encounters and everything. And I think I like this delivery of that more of like I'm just gonna be roaming around this world and I'm just gonna round the corner and fucking this is gigantic dragon lands. I'm like fuck, like that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think I'm now where y'all were. I think I might be in on this.
But especially with the timing of it, everyone's talking about February, March being crazy, and I think there are a lot of games there, but we went over for me and you is not as crazy.
Yeah.
Elden Ring now definitely stands out to me, and that especially with we'll talk about later Marvel's Sun's getting delayed. But yeah. So yay, we're interested in a FromSoft game.
We did. They finally got us. They just had to make it nerdy fantasy bullshit, I guess.
Yep.
Do you sniff any George R. R. Martin in there? Other than just like it's a little more Western fantasy. Which
nothing crazy. I mean, they had some dialogue there, but nothing that screamed George.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe it'll become more apparent when you actually plan it. Who knows?
Yeah, it does already seem like more dialogue than like probably all.
I think Sekiro had a decent amount, if I'm not mistaken, but I might be wrong on that. All right, Darby. Speaking of dialogue in games, Amy Hennig loves that shit. You know what also loves dialogue? Marvel's shit. So what do you do when you combine that shit? Lots of dialogue.
You get another canceled game. Right?
Yeah. Amy Hennig and Skydance Media have announced they are working on a narrative-driven blockbuster action-adventure Marvel game. And also, Janina Gavankar will star in the game.
It's Gavankar?
Gavankar.
I think, but I might be right.
You're going to say something? So yeah, they announced their studio back in 2019. It didn't feel like it was that long ago, but what is time nowadays?
What the fuck is time?
So I guess I'll be working on that then, so we could hear about it next year sometime.
I just hope it comes out. I hope this lady gets to release the damn game.
True. I feel like since I learned her name, all I've heard about cancellations.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I think Uncharted 4 is the last thing she worked on. She didn't even get to go that to completion. Very interesting. Marvel games are coming out constantly at this point. It makes me wonder, like, should we expect this to be like an Uncharted type of thing, or like just some kind of different?
I think it's going to be more in line with that.
Yeah, I expect it to, at the very least, be narrative focused.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Even
straight up.
Yeah, even if the gameplay ends up being something kind of different, but whatever. What do you think's gonna be?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's part of this. We can have a short little conversation. What we want / think it could be. So I don't think maybe it'll be any one related to the Avengers. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think maybe they might be out. Obviously not like the Guardians, Spider-Man, Wolverine are all out. As far as like her kind of thing, I don't know. Daredevil could be interesting.
Could be cool.
I'm trying to think of maybe like
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel could be cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think like because related to Uncharted, my mind goes to kind of the at least slightly more grounded heroes.
Iron Man, another suave dude.
True.
Yeah, I kind of with you. I kind of feel like they might go with a like slightly more off, surprising pick or something.
Punisher.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, I don't know. Something draws me to Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel's hot right now.
Yeah,
true, it's like there's a lot of things going on with that. Captain Marvel,
maybe.
One of the Marvels. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Moon Knight.
I don't have a strong.
It's hard to guess because we can guess like the big names, which is what we've primarily gotten to this point. But again, it's like. You said Iron Man. Like, will they go for, like I said, one of those big name Avengers, or they will try to go as kind of a different route to kind of diversify a little bit?
Probably a different route. I mean, I just feel, when we're talking about Uncharted, I just immediately thought Tony Stark.
All right, no, that was like, well,
but.
Nolan North voices him in Avengers, so fair.
It's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna plant my guess in Miss Marvel, but I don't feel confident about.
You know what? I like that guess story. It's a little out there, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
If they do go to the Avengers world and kind of go in the real house, Black Widow could make sense as well.
That could be cool. Yeah.
But hey, big, fully featured Miss Marvel game sounds dope, and I'd be for it.
Scarlet Witch. That would be a fun.
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl versus Scarlet Witch. Let's fucking go.
Scarlet Witch doesn't stand a chance, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, what if it like a Scarlet Witch Doctor Strange game, like with crazy magic shit or something? Or it could be a Doctor Strange game that just heavily features Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do some cool shit with that.
Indeed.
Magic bullshit.
And should see who they pick. That'll be fun. Now this is gonna be one of those things where everyone predicts it at every single fucking press conference.
And I don't expect to see it for a while, so yeah.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong on this, because some reason this was in my head. Or wait. No, I'm getting mixed up with someone else. Never mind. Some reason I thought she announced the collaboration with Sony, but that was whoever was working with Google. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, lady who was I forget her name. What she was,
you know what I'm talking about, viewer/listener.
Wasn't she with Ubisoft before or something? She was with some other big studio before.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah.
Let's move on to the final main news story before we get to other news and wrap up this podcast.
Final topic.
We got some VR news, Darby.
Oh, some VR?
Yep. Well, the Oculus Quest is now going to be the Meta Quest or some shit.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't make that decision.
You know what? Just fuck you.
Fair.
You know what?
But in more exciting news, and news I actually like, there's apparently going to be a VR version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And it's been announced for the Oculus Quest 2.
I can kill people and run over hookers in real life?
Yes. Yes, you can, actually.
I mean, I can.
Yeah.
There's consequences for those actions, but I can.
Maybe consequences in the game. It's easier to get away from them.
I don't know. It was I always struggled with this whenever I got
now being first
died
person
immediately.
But yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Especially it makes sense after Resident Evil 4 VR. Obviously they had this plan before it came out and got the reception is, but they obviously,
it's the hot thing right now is taking old games, putting them in VR.
It makes sense for like that era of games because with the graphic fidelity of them and stuff, you can transport them to VR without it, being too crazy and taxing in comparison to if, try to make a brand new game.
Yeah.
Because these are only on Quest 2, so you can't hook them up to your like computer and use the power of your computer. It's just a headset.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this also makes it where it's a little more accessible. You don't necessarily have to have this crazy beefy PC like Half-Life Alyx to be able to run it without throwing up. It's like, yeah, it does make sense. Because I mean, you think about even the best VR games right now. It's like they look good for VR games, but the textures are always like kind of the textures look like PS3 games half the time or whatever. So it's like it makes sense to actually port a PS3 or earlier game, it's like that kind of thing.
And if they nail it like they did with Resident Evil 4, that'd be crazy.
Yes, I do think this is harder. I do think
100%. Yeah.
The open world,
question.
the driving, all this other stuff. There's a lot more just moving around in general, like fast. It's like there's just a lot of things going on.
But also on that same note, I agree with you 100%. It's easier to leave room for jankiness because it is Grand Theft Auto in VR.
Yeah, but that jankiness is gonna make me hurl, Jeff. That's the difference.
I meant more like like what you do with your hands kind of jankiness and not actual visual jankiness. Yeah. They need to nail that. Which I agree with. All of it's harder than Resident Evil 4.
It is, yeah.
You're right.
Not that it's impossible. It's just like, it's...
I feel like since they announced... They didn't show footage, which I would have liked to see, but the fact they announced is like, okay, at least what they have at the moment, they
like enough to announce,
Yeah. Because the last thing they want to do is release that and it being like a broken mess. There's a fine line between something working like this and it making everyone sick.
It'll be very interesting, and I wonder, like, are you gonna play this with like the teleporting moveset thing or whatever, because it just seems like it's too fast. It's too fast of a game. Like you're driving around doing all this sort of stuff. Like,
yeah, I do wonder how they're gonna make that work. I
Like-
imagine at least for walking, they're gonna give you the option for both, like Resident
Yeah.
Evil 4 does. Just
yeah.
for like accessibility issues.
VR,
Or
I've
it's
never
just
been able to personally find the happy medium because I really hate the teleporting thing, especially for a game where I'm like going through environments a lot.
Yeah.
But then
I'm fine with-
not doing the teleporting makes me sick. So it's like,
Yeah, I'm fine with doing it, but I generally do just the normal walking because generally I'm fine. Luckily,
Yeah.
luckily VR doesn't make me sick too often.
the teleporting thing is okay for like shooting gallery or like some like smaller things that you're like
Yeah.
almost just puzzle solving more. Like it was mostly okay from what I did with Half-Life Alyx because I was mostly just looking at an environment, figuring out how to get through it. And then like when I was shooting people, it was like just right there. You know, you're just shooting people. I mean, I was sick just because I think VR just in general makes me sick. But it's different when you're in the open world having to run around. Like we play, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's gonna be way better than this, but like playing some of Skyrim VR, like playing that first like hour or something, it's like I cannot fucking imagine playing this 100-hour RPG
Yeah.
running around in VR. There's no way.
Strangely enough, and I felt this way about Resident Evil 4 when it was announced, because obviously the Skyrim comparisons came up. Feel better about it because it's originally a third-person game. They actually got to try. They can't. They can't just press make VR button and sell it like I think they did with Skyrim VR.
I mean, this sounds like kind of a ludicrous, big brain, like overthinking conspiracy to say like because the game is less suited for it, it's going to be better because they have to try whatever. But I agree with you. Like I buy fully.
At least in the Skyrim Resident Evil GTA scenarios.
Yeah, because Skyrim was real slapped on.
Yeah.
Just slap a headset on.
And also, another example where it worked. Hitman, same discussion then. I was like, they actually got to try, and in my opinion, it's fantastic.
Yep.
So,
And Rockstar, big company. I don't know if you knew that.
well, and Facebook, Rockstar Facebook, Meta. I'm sorry, Zuckerberg, don't kill me.
So they have a lot of resources. If they want to make this right, they can. And I think Rockstar is a company that has they don't put out like garbage stuff. They polish their things to a T. Yeah, almost to insane degrees.
Well,
So,
and again, because Meta is helping finance, because it's going to be an Oculus Quest 2 exclusive. It's like they want this to be a showpiece like Resident Evil 4 VR.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately for other people with other VR headsets, I believe like Resident Evil 4, this is probably going to stick on Quest 2. I mean, they could go, but the terminology is they're using for this sounds a little more, at least for a while, like this is Quest 2 only.
Yeah.
So,
especially because Facebook seems to be like directly getting involved.
oh yeah, it sounds like they pretty much hired Capcom and Rockstar.
Right.
But well, definitely with Capcom is sounding the same thing or Rockstar, like, hey, do this for us.
Yep.
Which again, if these all work out, then fuck it, go for it. Meta.
Sly Cooper VR. Let's go, baby.
Let's do it. Finally a furry VR game. No, that's out there.
Oh, you know it's out there.
Other news.
Other news.
Brr, brr, brr. As I kind of said earlier, Marvel Midnight Suns has been delayed to second half 2022.
Sag.
Yep. Take your time. It was in March. I imagine. Well, they say in their statement that it's to add I think more voice acting and story and side quests and shit. But I think they also were like, let's get out of that month. Because again, even if it's not about the games for us, there's a lot of stuff there that would kind of take away from it.
Yeah. Yep. No. Pokemon.
Yep. Pokemon Legends Arceus. I mean, Elden Ring ran from it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Scared.
Yep.
As they should be.
Hey, that's good news for me. I can jump into both.
They should be. Oh yeah, when is Elden Ring coming out now?
February 25th.
Oh, okay, it was just 1 month.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No. It'll be time to play Arceus. So yeah, take all the time you need. And I'm honestly, I'm happy to hear it's like, oh, we're deciding to put in more stuff to it. So I guess reception or something, they're feeling good about it at least.
Good, let's go, baby.
So I feel good about this game. Unlike everyone else, because apparently because Avengers bad, no Marvel game besides the Insomniac ones could be good.
Marvel games are done.
Yeah.
No more Marvel games.
Except Guardians, that's okay too. A Donkey Kong movie starring Seth Rogen is reportedly in development. Looks like they're already getting that Mario movie spin-off.
We building the new MCU, the Mario Cinematic Universe.
This obviously makes sense. If they feel good about this, make a Donkey Kong movie. Get Diddy and Dixie and stuff involved. Cranky's already in the Mario movie, but
yeah, boy.
Let's go full out. Hey, Darby, quick.
I just at least better be good bad if it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
I'll up good or good bad. Either way.
Darby, I got a very important question. You need to answer me. Who's playing Funky Kong?
That is the question, isn't it?
You can't say Danny DeVito.
You're really just kind of tied,
Because he's Kitty Kong.
Because he is Kitty Kong. That is true. It just.
Oh, and if that happens, I need Kitty and Luigi to go on adventures.
Donald Glover is playing Funky Kong. Doing
I like
a really weird voice.
I like it.
You can barely tell it's him.
I like it. Okay, you went. I approve.
You see the credits and you're like, that was Donald Glover?
See, the fun thing about these movies, especially if they are good, it'll be fun to see who they actually get for the rest of these movies. Like, who is in that Donkey Kong cast? Who are they getting for like Diddy and Dixie?
K-Rool?
Yeah, who is K-Rool?
Who's K-Rool?
Danny DeVito.
He's also
wait.
DeVito.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. Okay. They would just go through all the meme choices.
Yep.
J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
He needs pictures of Donkey Kong. All right.
True. Of that ass.
Ooh, no, strawberry coconut cream pie.
Yes. Pikmin Bloom has been announced and released. All right, we did it. We got a Pikmin game.
Oh, we did it, everyone.
It's on mobile, but we did it.
We can all go home.
And you just walk around and plant flowers or some shit.
So is it like a Pokemon Go?
Kind of, sort of. It's like you go walking outside and on the screen, from what I can tell, I didn't actually watch the video. I just saw a little description. Like a Mii's walking around and flowers bloom around you.
It sounds lovely.
Yeah. And apparently you can buy pots or some shit. I don't know.
You can buy a pot?
Yes.
Whoa.
I mean,
what about the good boys and girls out there, Jeff?
There are no good boys and girls.
We're tainted now.
Okay, Derry, let's end on talking about Nintendo 64 Online.
Let's do it.
And not how bad it is, which is an issue, and Nintendo fix your shit.
We're
getting there. It has been data mined, and there are apparently at least 38 games coming to Nintendo 64 Online, and apparently 52 Genesis games, which, cool. And based on the way the list is formatted, which is an alphabetical, like, numerical values or whatever, 1 to 38, and they seem to be in alphabetical order, we can kind of tell based on the N64 game list and where things are on that shit. Super Smash Brothers, Rave Race,
hell yeah,
and the N64 and Mario Party games are on that list, it looks like. So there's a very good chance we're getting all those.
Put Wave Race in next month, you fucking cowards.
Yeah. And related to that, as Darby was just hinting at, GoldenEye could be on that list because it has been unbanned in Germany. Now, I'll put a little bit of context to it just besides that. So it has been unbanned in Germany. It's been banned for 24 years. Apparently the way it works in Germany is things are reviewed after 25 years. So it's been a year early. So someone had to lobby for it. And it's looking like it might be Nintendo based on some company thing that kind of related to them might have done it. So that would probably mean GoldenEye's going to be on 64 Online.
That'd be awesome.
Because what other reason you have to do it? I mean, I guess there's a chance Microsoft might have been mainly behind it, but some people were looking like it is.
If you were a lobby, you could have done this earlier.
Yeah.
But it would be very cool. I mean, I have a feeling, that game's not going to age quite as well as some other older games, but it's also just a piece of gaming history that's, very, very big. Very, very cool.
Yeah. Well, and also something that will be cool for this and get people like, you know, excited, at least for the first little bit, like you said, yeah, it may not age particularly well, so people might drop it a little quick. But it should have online.
Yeah.
And for every reason, well, okay, I guess not this one. N64 needs some work, I think, but it seemed like this stuff might have rollback, so I don't know. It might be, if Nintendo kind of fixes what problems are there, might be good.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Easy ally stream for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta.
I mean, they'll find any excuse to stream that game.
Man, that dude.
Yes.
Yep, you know what I'm saying. All right. That new 007 movie was real good, yo. No Time to Die is very good. 007's cool. It has become a cooler character. All right, we're done. We're done with this gaming shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why isn't James Bond owned by WB so he could be a metaverse or multiverse?
We're getting a fucking IO007 movie
yeah,
game.
that's right.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
That is cool as shit.
Should be good.
That is, God, what a perfect pairing.
Oh yeah.
I'm Devin. Like I kind of forgot that game existed. I'm probably like, hopefully I do continue to keep forgetting this and then remember it like once a year and go like, oh fuck, until it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a while away, but yeah.
Yeah. Daniel Craig was like the best 007. I enjoyed all those old 007 games, but like this is probably gonna be like an actually really good one with a big budget and everything else.
No Daniel Craig though, Dar. You get that out of here.
Oh no,
No, yeah,
no,
break-
no.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want it to be.
yeah.
I want it to be there.
Oh fuck.
Go ahead and start.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching episode 10 or 206, whatever the fuck episode of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. Watch our other shit. I don't know. What do we have to promote?
The end of the world.
Oh, well, I had a thought. Look forward to betting special probably the next couple of weeks. I just realized I'd probably start working on that, so I might do that after this.
It's like 4 weeks away, isn't it? 5 weeks.
We're probably like a week or two away from when we want to record it, so or when we can start recording it. So I better get working on that.
You know what? You know what you better do, Jeff?
What?
You better start working on it fast.
Yeah, because he's wearing a Sonic mask. Bye.